Welcome back, everyone. Going into part 2 here of episode 69.
You just fucking love that, don't you?
Adam?
Yeah.
Playing role-playing games with infants. All right.
High five, Dan.
So,
Now, Dan, get ready to
Smooth
snap.
babies. Yeah. Okay. So you're heading off in the night. You're moving away from the main district, and you're avoiding the train, which is probably for the best.
Yeah.
Let me just roll a couple of dice for no reason at all. Okay. So I think that the journey takes several hours. I think that you leave this district behind and move into a lower but fairly well-off neighborhood. So made up of those houses I was talking about before, where they're like rich people who have like gardens and lawns and villas. They also have walls around their homes. And so as you move through the streets, as it gets dark, you notice, Kalimat, first that the lights of the city don't come on. There are like essentially magical street lights in the city of Brass, in most of the like upper neighborhoods, but they don't come on as it gets dark. It stays dark in the streets, to the point where it gets dark enough that you're navigating purely by moonlight, unless you like have another light source you'd like to use. Maybe you all kind of realize like it's getting kind of dark. Berg, you're fine, obviously.
I was gonna say Berg. I'm muted. I'm not muted. Good. I was gonna say Berg he's fine. It's not an issue. Light's not an issue.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Berg, maybe you don't even notice that it's like getting dark enough that they wouldn't be able to
Probably
see.
not.
Yeah. But Sully, Ramus, and Kalimat, you can keep going. It's just very dim. It means that if anybody were waiting to ambush you, or you were being followed or whatever, it'd be much harder to notice because it's dark. Though making a light also is like a beacon. So what do you want to do?
I turned to Ramus. Ramus, should we remain in the darkness or light the path? You're the wise one here.
I do have 20 wisdom.
Yes, no,
That's true.
you've mentioned
Also, you
it
have to
thousands and thousands of times.
Bring all
Incoming
that
chat.
wisdom to
Well,
bear.
Applying my wisdom, I think probably traveling in the dark would be safer, as we'd only be able to see 30 feet away, whereas everyone within miles could see us walking as a beacon of light.
Fair enough. If I bump into you, it's because I'm blind. I turn around.
Yeah, so it is pretty dark. Your eyes adjust to the star and stars and moonlight, but it's not a clear sky because there's smoke drifting up from the lower parts of the city that's obscuring some of the sky. It's making it all hazy. And so you're moving in pretty relative darkness, which means you're going slow. But are you just walking down like main roads or what? Kalimat, I think you get to a point where you can't really like follow on the rooftops anymore because there are these like walled estates with lots of gaps between them.
Sure. I'll climb down then.
Okay.
And relay that information. Well, in this particular part of town, I can't follow you on the rooftops anymore. So, and this is as I'm like climbing down. I guess we're all together again, and we have a direction. I mean, we can look at the moon and keep that on our left or right side, whatever it is.
Well, where exactly are we going? Do you have a building in mind? Is that what you saw?
There's several buildings. It's appears to be a market district.
Fair enough.
So once we see these manors change to cellars of whatever, I'm assuming we're getting close.
Well, perhaps we go in one of these side streets instead of the main road?
I'm fine with that. I think that would be a good idea.
Okay, yeah. If you'd like to make a like a stealthier way through,
The fuck is that?
I think in this case,
What
it's
the fuck are you doing?
like I'm just looking at. I need to just check something on everybody's character sheet. Sorry, if
you
I
just
missed
need to roll
it.
3d6 for no reason.
Gotta check something. Just
Oh, he
gotta
rolled
check
that
Oh
something.
yeah,
long
the
ago.
D6
Not a
is
big
for
deal.
nothing. Yeah, that's something else.
Don't worry about it.
11. Okay. Ramus. I'm gonna get back to you. Give me a second. Okay. So if somebody wants to like lead the way through like darker streets, like through alleyways and stuff, I think in this case it would be like a survival roll to find like the least observed path.
I have a +5. Does anyone beat that?
Ramus.
Survival? I might actually have some. Well, you +5, that's pretty high.
Ramus,
No,
are
I
you
think
plus
that's
5?
a problem.
I have 5 as well
All right.
for survival.
20L.
Well, I can help, and you can make the roll if you want advantage.
Yeah, that's true. If the two of you are kind of like picking like, finding streets that you can hide in and not taking the main road.
Yeah, there's a
Thoughts and
discussion.
prayers.
18.
Okay. All right, so yeah, that's
Wow.
pretty good. So Ramus, you and Sully lead the group off of the main street, and you kind of make your way through the back alleys. These would be like sub roads that servants would use, because you wouldn't want a bunch of like servant traffic on this beautiful main thoroughfare through the like rich neighborhood. So yeah, you fall back into these servant streets, and and definitely avoid being visible out in the main streets.
Okay.
I think then you come upon this scene rather than like stumbling on it or having you find these people at work. So you spot ahead of you, Berg. You see them first. You got good dark vision, so you see them before anybody else does. You spot a group of about a half dozen. They look humans. Maybe one of them is a dwarf. They're all dressed in dark clothes. And they are wearing cloth like masks, or like bandanas tied around their face. They have a wagon, and the wagon has got some kind of cargo with a tarp thrown over it. They look like they've just arrived at one of these intersections of old road. So this road was probably built as a main road back when the city was new, when it was young. And sometimes at these old intersections there are like ancient shrines. This particular spot is a shrine to the world. It has a stone statue, in the shape of a pregnant woman holding her stomach, with her hair kind of coming down over her body, and it's set out in a little like garden. And you can see this group of people, and they've just pulled. It's a hand cart. They've pulled it up to the shrine, and you can see by their furtive movements, they appear to be up to no good. They have not spotted you yet.
Okay.
Can we get?
I'm the one that's seen him.
Berg is the only one who's seen
Oh,
this.
okay. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Berg would quietly say to...
There are people, Berg. They do not look like they are up to any good. You can't see them yet. Little ways up.
How many, Berg? Can you count? That's not
How
a
many do
question
I
of
see?
you actually being able to count. I'm just asking you to count.
Can you count? Did you say how many or no?
You would guess at this distance, like a half dozen. If you want to stop and like observe them for a minute, you
Yeah,
can.
no, I will. Yeah, Berg will stop and observe him for a second just to see, like, get a little more detail of what's happening. 'Cause you kind of just told me, like,
Make
there's some
a-
hooded figures up ahead that are doing something.
Yeah, make a perception check.
Please be good.
Oh, I thought that.
Oh,
Oh, that was me. Sorry.
Woo!
But just wait for me to... It's gonna be bad.
Oh, baby!
Oh, shit.
Holy look, this really is episode 69, because the first episode we rolled double 20s, and here we are once again.
Okay,
End
so
of the
20 on one
show.
end, 20 on the other.
It's over.
yeah, your poor
Don't
man's
do it,
crit.
don't
You rolled two 19s. The group you can count them now. Yeah, there's one dwarf and 7 like humans probably.
Okay.
They're in that height range. There's nothing that obviously sets them apart, but they are like cloaked and wearing masks.
Okay. Yeah. Or relays this information to Sally and them.
Wait.
Yeah. They're unloading. So if you watch for a couple of seconds, one of them yanks the tarp off, and then starts unloading barrels, just small, like they look like about beer keg sized. And so this one of them picks up a barrel. It looks kind of heavy, and like passes it to someone else, who then passes it to someone else. And the dwarf is standing by the statue, by the little shrine, and he's the last one in the chain. And he gets the barrel and he sets it down by the statue. There's still some more barrels and stuff, and they've set up this little line to pass them along.
Okay. When Berg says, one dwarf and however many humans it was, 6 or 7 humans, I go, wait. What if we made an illusion of one of those Fereng creatures and made it right here? Do you think they would run?
Why are we bothering?
Oh, I suppose that's right. Well, do we need to go that way? Is the market that way?
I'm sure there's a way to
yeah, I mean,
circumvent it. We don't.
It's in the path. You'd have to like find another way around if you don't want to go this way.
Berg, these things that they're... What are they moving, Berg? Just barrels?
Yeah, they look
Smaller,
like small kegs.
tinier, round,
Sounds like demolition to me.
size.
Berg's just struggling to like use his
Yeah.
descriptor words.
Small barrel.
Ramus, would the tower have any reason to blow up a monument to the world?
I don't think right here. It doesn't make a lot of sense. It's just a shrine. It's not really a important place to protect. Maybe they're not interested in the shrine. Something nearby or under it.
Are things kept?
Maybe
below
there's
shrines?
something.
There's tunnels everywhere in this city.
Maybe there's something valuable within the shrine. Maybe it's encrusted with diamonds or rubies or something. Does it really matter? I say we go around.
Well, I'm all for avoiding the fight, but I do wonder why. But if you wish to avoid it, then by all means, let us continue down this path. I kind of gestured towards the path leading away from it.
Okay. Everybody make a stealth check.
Oh boy.
It's a sign of things.
Oh my
That's
God.
a good sign.
13.
So stealthy.
Berg, the 11. Let's see if I just point down the hallway and then fart really loudly. Yep, that's
Oh.
exactly what happened.
Nice. So
That's
good.
woo,
Ah.
man.
So Berg,
Yes.
Berg also you're at disadvantage.
Disadvantage. I'm farting as well.
So
It's
both of you get.
So
You bump into each other and make
we
noise.
both hit the squeakiest board of all time in front of us. Yeah, yeah,
Good. Fantastic. Good work.
great.
Okay, so you're moving through the like a different alley. You've moved off of this like back road, and that's when you hear I guess you come around a corner and you see there's another smaller group of these guys. There's a dwarf and 2 humans, and the dwarf raises a crossbow and points it at you when you come around the corner. He hears you coming, and he shouts, "Hold on!" And then somebody turns, and suddenly you're like momentarily blinded by a lantern, a bullseye lantern, pointed right in your direction. And so when you look, all you can see is this bright lantern shining off of these internal mirrors at you. And the dwarf says, "Who goes there?"
Is this just me and Berg, or is this all 4 of us?
It's the whole group, yeah, because you're all
It's a whole
talking
group.
together.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would think.
Kalimat, speak to
Yeah.
them.
No, I'm thinking.
Yeah, shut up! I'm
Shut
thinking.
up,
what am
I'm
I
thinking.
saying?
Yeah, I know.
Words don't just come.
Lower the blasted light, for Christ's sake, or for God's sake.
You hear.
We're not-
You just hear the voice. I don't think so, stranger.
We're not here to cause you trouble. We were trying to not bother you. Just there's nobody around. We were probably doing the same thing you're doing, just differently. So
You hear.
We
you
don't
hear
want-
some, like,
we don't
some
want-
whisper. Some like frantic whispering, like I don't know, some like whispering back and forth. And then you hear a voice say, "You're going about highly armed for people who are just on a night stroll.
have you seen?
What's
the
your business
city?
in this neighborhood?"
Nothing. We have no business in this neighborhood.
There's more like another pause, and you hear like, "He's got a point." Just like whispering back and forth. Make a persuasion check.
Oh.
Okay. So you hear the dwarf say, the light swings away from you slightly to point at an open, like an stone archway of an old alley, and then swings back to you. And then the dwarf says, take this alley, go straight down it, don't turn around, don't turn left, don't turn right. We've got people watching the streets, and if you disobey, we'll know. Forget that you saw us. You know it's good for you.
Forget that we saw who?
Them,
There's a
Kalimata.
pause, and then
Forget we saw them. The
Yeah, Berg
6
also,
humans and the
like-
dwarf.
Or gestures like,
And then you
it's like points.
you hear me like I just under my breath was like, you asked me to talk. I'm talking. Shut up.
I was helping
Sorry.
talk. Sorry.
all right. So you go about your business. You head that way to go where they told you.
Yep. Now,
Okay, all right.
would that
So-
would that take us closer to them? Like would we go?
No, it's away from
past-
them.
Oh, okay,
No,
okay.
no, it's the other direction. Basically, he's just trying to
Okay.
be like, get out of here, and you end up going the other direction.
Now, as they
And-
move the
yeah.
lantern away from us and stuff, do we notice anything about them, like as far as their clothing, their?
I mean, yeah, anybody who thinks to look, I think actually only Berg can really see. Like Berg, you can make a perception check because they're pretty far away and it's dark.
Okay.
But yeah, Berg, make a perception check for me there, Max. Okay, 13. Yeah, these guys they're not wearing any regalia. They're not wearing tabards with their insignia or armbands or anything. They just look like men who are out in the night to do ill and who don't want to be caught doing it. Right? They're wearing dark colors, they're cloaked and masked, and they look like they're up to no good.
So I using thieves can't. If I don't know if that's a universal thing or like whatever, but
Yes, it
it
is,
says a
yeah.
secret mix of dialect, jargon, and code that allows you to hide messages. And within my message, like I'm saying like, let's go, and I'm using
so
weird words as we go, and I'm saying, have a nice night, fellas. I hope you get everything you want.
Right. And so when you say that, when you speak to your friends like, all right, everybody, I guess the jig is up. We better make leftwise and take ourselves out of here. Shake your
Yep.
feathers, my boyos. And everybody's
Yep.
like, why is he talking like this? But they hear what you're actually saying. And what is the encoded part of the message? Like, what are you trying to say? Just like
I'm just saying, like-
I'm one of you, or you're
Like happy hunting.
The call-
and, like
okay.
Yeah.
All right. So there's a pause, and one of the humans says, "Hold on," and then you hear the squeak of the lantern like, kind of go as they open it, and now you can see them in a little like bubble of light. And one of the humans, she pulls her mask off, and you can see like a young, she's probably like in her early 20s, young woman. She's got long black hair, but it's like tied behind her so it doesn't get in the way. You can see now she has 2 swords on her hip. She pulls her mask off and she says, in common, she says, basically like, wait a second, I think we've got something yet to discuss. but hidden in Thieves' Cant in it is, and she's put the light on so you can see her movement, so you pick that up. Are your friends like on the DL too, or is it just you? Like, can we trust your friends with our business?
Right, and I say like, hold up to my friends. I say, hold up, boys. We might have a friend here, and hidden within that, I say, like, give her the affirmative. Like, yes, you can. These are, they're with me, and we're up to no good as well.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So, so she just says, when you say that, she says in common, she's like, well, maybe we can all help each other out. Come over here. I don't want to be shouting down this alley.
And then you see me like just completely nonchalantly, like no fear at all. Like the group sees me like just no hesitation or anything. I just stride over to her. Come,
Kalimat, what? No, what is happening?
No, we have friends here.
Does Berg recognize the area at all from, like, at all?
Yeah.
That he's in?
Yeah, you've been in the city a long time. What do you want to know?
It's specifically where he took the shield.
This part of town is not. No, this is just houses.
Okay. If it was that area, there's a dwarf here. Berg might be a little. Yeah. Anyways. Yeah. All right. Berg follows.
Yeah. So the group of you come over. Okay.
He's that weird.
So you can see now that the three of them that were like, these guys are sentries. They're watching this intersection of alleys. There's a dwarf, a man. He's got a crossbow in his hands. There's the human. Yeah, she's a young woman. She doesn't have like her clothes and her countenance don't really like match up. She stands with a sort of like practiced like poise, and holds herself in a way that implies that she's not like used to being dressed this way. She seems uncomfortable with the clothes she's wearing, but she speaks the cant. And then accompanying them and standing like protectively close to her is a half orc, like very far on the human side, like quite human looking. His skin is probably like grayish, only like a slightly pronounced jaw, small tusks. But he has the sort of the broad shoulders and the slight hunch of a half orc. He might be able to pass as human if you weren't to get a good look at him. And you walk over
now,
to the group of them.
You said these clothes look strange. Now, do they look? And what I'm basically looking for is, do they fit her? Like, are they tailored to her, or did she find these clothes and put them on because they're great?
Make an insight check.
Okay.
Or a perception check. I guess you're looking at her clothes and her attitude.
Okay. 13.
They seem like they fit. Yeah. She looks uncomfortable. Like you see the weight of the sword on her hip. Like she's shifted her body to like she's walking around like she's got a gun on her, and she's never done that before.
Gotcha. Okay. No, I was wondering if she was wearing stolen clothes.
Yeah. Okay. So you
Go.
as you approach, she looks at the group of you, and she says in common, she says, "It's a bad neighborhood if you're looking to find somewhere to rob. I mean, all the good treasures around here, but these houses, they're too well defended."
Agreed. This was not our stopping place. We are actually on our way, and I point the direction vaguely, like we're on our way through this area, and we saw
Yeah,
you
like
here.
South Market. Did you tell her like we're going to South Market, or are you like just we're headed that way?
No, not specifically, just vaguely. Like we're headed that way.
All right.
Where there still might be good picking left, and possibly a place to spend the night. My friends are
The
exhausted.
the half orc says, "Did you hear about the Ahari, sir?"
Oh yes, we.
And he's actually
not
he's
only
looking at Berg. He's looking at Berg when he says that.
Oh, okay. Then I won't answer.
Berg's just kind of, I guess, like looks at the others and realizes, oh, he's talking to me. Like,
Yes, we know.
Can you imagine it? A city with no guard. And you can just see like he's just kind of looking off in the distance, like thinking about like, what's it gonna be like?
It's gonna be
I'd
fucking
imagine
awesome.
you could steal the immortal's trousers if you'd like.
And he shakes his head. No, I heard their fortress is protected by magic. And the dwarf sneers up at him and rolls his eyes like you've just like this is a conversation they've had before.
Right. Well,
So
I'm
the girl,
curious.
the
have
girl
no-
while you're talking, like she actually just looks past you, Calamine, and she looks at Sully and Ramus. Like you're still talking, but she looks and she says, "You're an odd bunch. Going about dressed the way that you are, you stick out too. What are you doing? Where are you going?"
You're a human woman with a dwarf and a orc. Look, are you blowing this up? Is that the plan here? And we're the odd bunch?
She squints at you and she says, "What we're doing in this neighborhood's my business, not yours."
Well, then we're quite not odd. I just stare at her and cross my hands.
Quite not odd.
Yeah, she chuckles. Uh-huh.
Forgive my friend. He mostly keeps the books.
And she nods like, "Okay, yeah. We have one of those too. Someone to make sure we know where all our coins gone."
No, that would be Ramus, but he lost it all.
I'm sorry to hear that, Ramus, was it?
Yes, kind of lost a lot of money. And I need to refill my pockets. And this is a perfect place to do that, if you know what I mean.
She nods. She says, "Well, if you can avoid these foreigners that are invading our city and the demon cults and what's left of the Aharisa and some of the more pretentious churchgoers and the private soldiers. But yes, now's a good time for folk like us."
Have you ran into many of them? Any of those that you've mentioned?
I try not to.
Of course, so do we. But traveling with people who might not be as fleet of foot as us proves difficult when you don't want to be spotted.
And she nods. She says, "Well, I mean, I can give you some pointers. You were doing fine for anybody else, but you know, we've training looking for people who are trying to go unnoticed." She like as if remembering like, "Oh yeah, we're supposed to be on sentry duty." She like looks down the alleys. She says, "But we should be done and out of here soon. You and your friends are welcome to go on your way, now that I know you're not going to interfere."
Right.
She looks at the three of you like, "You're not going to interfere, are you?"
I don't care if you
Oh,
blow up the statue. No. Do as you wish.
I am curious though. What, in case we come upon an undestroyed statue of this sort, because of course we have no interest in what is yours, but what is the value in this? I'm curious.
She shrugs. "I don't know. Someone's paying us to do it. We know our way around."
Someone is paying you.
Like looks back over her shoulder. She says, "My crew, we've done things like this before. We have a benefactor this time. These old statues, I don't know what they're worth, but apparently someone wants this one destroyed."
I see. Would this benefactor be interested in hiring any more people?
Get your own business.
Fair enough. But I
Have you
thought
guys blown up any bridges recently?
No. No bridges. We mostly focus on things like walls, bank vaults, that sort of thing. This is a bit of an odd job for us, too.
And then I kind of slip it in. I try to do it like nonchalantly, but so she'll hear it. I kind of whisper to Ramus, but I say the name a little bit louder. And I say, "Do you think maybe that they're being hired by Hassan and that they want to destroy these things. And yeah, I just wait, kind of see if there's any any reaction
Yeah,
from them.
She doesn't seem to respond. No.
Okay.
No. Now that like when you turn to talk to Ramus, she politely kind of like goes back to sentry duty.
Okay.
But to answer your question, I don't think so, because this doesn't seem to have any strategic value. Just a statue to the earth, to the world. I don't know why the tower would want this destroyed.
You hear two like sharp whistles, and the girl says, "Oh, all right, boys, time to move along. Good hunting. We've got to go."
I just sit there and wave.
Happy hunting.
Bye-bye.
Okay.
May you find all the fortune.
So she gives you, Kalimat, she gives you a couple of like, she gives you the like secret handshake, right? Like you like bump elbows and whatever, and then she slips away, her and her crew, and you head off in the other direction, and you continue in your towards your destination for about 15 or 20 minutes, and then you hear in the distance, you hear this like this boom sound, and you turn back to look over your shoulder, and you see like there's a bright flash and some smoke. They've obviously destroyed the statue, but it's what happens after that is strange. There's this boom, this popping sound of the explosion going off, and then the glow of the fire, and then a thin trail of light, almost like a monochrome, like a white and gray scale aurora borealis, just kind of like floats up from in a column from the spot where the shrine was. It lasts maybe 10 or 15 seconds. It's like a colorless rainbow flying up into the sky, and then it fades.
Solly, do you know what that was?
What, just because something explodes in the sky, I'm supposed to know what it is?
No,
Chris?
it just looked like some sort of magic or something.
I'm immediately like scrambling in my brain to see what that is. Would
Yeah,
it be
you
in
want to make an Arcana check?
Yeah. Crit.
Wow.
Nice. Yes, you have seen this phenomenon before. So, there are scholars among the totals that believe that the Earth itself, that all creation is an entity. And as an entity, like regular like people or animals, it is empowered by chi. It has this flow of chi that moves through it, and where chi would collect in the chakras of a person's body, so too with the earth, chi may flow into special areas. What you are seeing is a venting or immersion of chi energy of the earth. You've seen this phenomenon before. Maybe you've gone on like an expedition with your friends to the bottom of the ocean to find like a particularly powerful vent. And so like the earth is believed to have these veins, these lines of energy. And if you like with acupuncture, if you poke them the right way, you can redirect that flow of chi. And so it seems like that's what has just happened. One of the city's ley lines has been managed or messed with, and now this chi has been released.
So
it should have no physical effect. Like it'll fuck with the feng shui of all the like stuff in the neighborhood. People have to move mirrors and change where their plants are for good luck. But yeah, it won't have any like. There's no profit in this unless you're like a geomancer and you're planning something.
right, and that's immediately what my mind goes to. So I do the whole like, I'm supposed to know what that means. Of course I know what that means. It means, oh no, it. Ramus, would the tower go beyond just destroying the city physically? Is that something they would want to do?
If they could just wipe out the entire city and the Frang at the same time, that would save a lot of work.
There are people from where I'm from that are hired to do this thing. The world is, there are lines in the world, and where these lines converge, cities are built, much like the the city of brass, but when they are as plentiful as the city of brass, the city grows and becomes as big as this one did. However, if someone were to theoretically destroy all of these lines, then the city would no longer... Bad things would happen, Ramus. It's not wise.
You mean like salting the earth so it's unusable for the next person who occupies this space?
Unless they mean to do other things with the land, yes,
Like a human, and you've got a good handle on it, but like a human body, if the flow of chi is interrupted, there are styles of martial art that are meant to, they're like, you hit somebody hard enough in a certain chakra, they die instantly.
Yeah.
But also you can use it to heal or to change. Like if a person is sick, you can cure them by altering the flow of their chi. But also bad chi can build up and make someone sick. You can do some pretty serious damage. Like you said, they built the city of brass on a confluence of these lines. And by changing them, by finding the points and by applying pressure and redirecting, you can do all kinds of things. You can change the innate nature of the city.
Yeah. So whoever is doing this has changes in mind for this place. That's all I'm saying. Would the tower want something like this, or is this other people trying to get a grasp on this?
Could be either the tower, could be the Mara for all we know. I doubt it'd be the Farang. I don't think they're familiar enough with the Earth, with this planet to know that. There could be a third player we don't even know, a fourth player we don't even know about. We can at least ask the tower when we get back.
Perhaps one of the fucking what are the name of the wizards?
The Sahir?
Sahir.
The Sahir. Perhaps one of the Sahir.
The Sahir, I suppose so. Anything is possible, but I would think that they would rather exist in whatever domain they create themselves, not take over something like this. But perhaps.
The city of brass, though? That'd be quite the feather in the cap.
That is correct, but then they would be wanting to... The opposite with the ley lines. They would be wishing to rejuvenate the city, in a sense, and restore those the ley lines. I don't know. Something is going to happen. I don't know if I want to be here when it happens, though. We should hurry.
Yeah. Okay.
I agree.
And so with that, you continue your journey into the night. You make your way out of this like rich person district and down into the middle city, and probably like by the time you reach South Market, the sun has started to come up again. It's like you've traveled all night through the dark, kind of avoiding trouble, but now you're in this area that is like quiet. It's abandoned, right? It's like a town that has been consumed by plague, right? That all the people have died, but the buildings remain. There is a quiet to the streets. Even though the sun is coming up and this should be like a bustling market, you're walking by stalls of rotten fruit that have just been like left out in the sun. And every building has one of these wheat paste like posters on its door commanding the inhabitants, it's got a big red X, commanding the inhabitants to leave and to make their way to the temple district for to find safety there. And yeah, it's evident to you that this place has been all but utterly abandoned.
Great. I think we find a building that could have a tiny hut in it and take up refuge.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it's easy. So it's lots of shops, and it'll be like a shop with apartments on top of it, shop with houses on top. There's lots of colorful laundry strung across some of the alleys. It's like a busy neighborhood that all the people have just been pulled out of. So are you looking for anything in particular? Just one that like seems Like it hasn't been no broken windows. What are the qualities of your?
Kalimont might have like physical qualities to it, but for me, I'm trying to find ones that are off the ley line. Like if there's a strong like ley line that goes through this part of the city that I can sense, I want to stay the fuck
okay.
away from it.
Yeah, I wonder. I feel like detect magic would let you maybe make a roll for that, or if you had like tools, like for detecting, because geomancy is like a specific discipline.
Yeah, I think if I was, like I said, one of those people from Turtletown that does this stuff, I would have tools, but probably detect magic as well.
Yeah.
I can use a spell slot for that. That's fine. So yeah, I'll cast detect magic and kind of just you just see Solly just kind of staring at his stomach, just kind of looking around, trying to see what I can figure out.
There's no obvious like clear like enchantment in this area. If you're trying to avoid magical ambiance, you did it. This is good. You're fine.
Okay. My head brings up and I'm like kind of almost blinded by some of the items. Like Ramus's hands are probably glowing, and I'm like, huh. I see Kalimot's like dagger glowing. What the fuck? And then I see Berg, and it's just kind of like a bright light in the middle of the two
Berg's
of them.
arm.
Yeah.
The conduit is interesting because I don't think you've like detected magic at it recently. So Berg's arm is glowing because it's enchanted. It's a magic arm. But his hammer is it's like looking at not the same way that I described like Ramus's absence of soul, but like it causes your eyes to ache when you look at it. You can see it, but you don't like looking at it with detect magic on. Like it's like looking at something that irritates your eyes. You can feel like the dull ache in your brain when you look at it too long.
Okay. Yeah, I kind of close my eyes and scratch my temple, and then just turn the spell off so that I can see again. Oh, this wherever you think is best, Kalimont. I just need a big enough room.
Of course. I say we get something on a corner so we can see both paths coming our way. I say we set up if there's a second floor, that's what we look for that as well, so that we can see even further of what's coming our direction should we need, and something with easy egress, something that we can escape from quickly if need be.
All solid points.
So you take a look around and you see a place I think that fits that that quality. It looks like an inn or a cafe or something or a tavern on the bottom floor. There are some tables laying out. One has been knocked over. Above the door, there's a wooden sign that has a glass, like a goblet tipping with like a golden like ale or something spilling out of it, and it's on a background of honeycomb, like a honeycomb background.
Dude.
And this place, it's got a building above it, and
did anyone else hear the honeycomb and think honeycomb hideout?
I don't know. What honeycomb
we found the
hideout.
fucking honeycomb hideout.
No.
I
Sorry.
didn't think that.
Yeah.
No.
it's just
I
you.
think you're just old, man.
No, you.
Someone
Found the
in chat
honeycomb
got it.
hideout. Is it big? Yeah. It's not small? No.
Never heard that.
Oh, okay.
Okay, that part I recognize.
But yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing.
It's I mean it's a meadery, right? Like it's you go in, you like cut the quarantine like notice, and you slip inside, and yeah, like you can smell like a sort of tangy like sweetness in the air. You can hear faintly in the back courtyard. They probably have bees. There's probably an apiary. You can hear like a faint like a buzzing sound. There's like a bar and some tables, some kegs at the back, and then stairs that lead up into the private like houses of whoever owned this place. But it's absolutely abandoned.
Cool. I go up and start. I get out my chalk. Oh, it's been some time since I've done this, and take maybe a little bit slower than what it used to be, because it's been, I don't know, at least 3 or 4 weeks since I've actually made a tiny hut. And I used to know it by heart, so I kind of start drawing all the arcane etchings, and eventually cast in front of us.
Okay. Sure. Yeah, so you begin preparing. What's everybody else doing while Sully is preparing the tiny hut?
I'm actually going to try and look see if there's any merchant shops that are boarded up and shit like that. Maybe I don't know what they would be called in the City of Brass or in 5th edition, but like a pawn shop of some sort, like knickknacks.
Yeah.
Like that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I don't know what the like a medieval, like a tinker basically that would trade like stuff you don't want anymore for other shit. Yeah.
Yeah, someone who would he'd give you gold and he'd fix it up and then resell it or something.
A curios shop. Yeah, okay.
There you go.
Yeah, I think it's reasonable. Like you go off on your own to do that. Are you gonna bring anybody with you?
No.
I'd go with.
And I'm hoping. I'm honestly, Adam. I'll give you my intention here. I'm hoping to like stumble across an instrument.
I think I know. Yeah. That's what I figured. Okay. Sorry, Max, you were gonna say something?
Not opposed. No. Berg doesn't really want to be around Sally Hopper.
Yeah,
So.
you probably. I'm like, Berg, please come in. The tiny hut is ready. Go fuck yourself. Just like.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah, it looks like Kalimat doesn't. You don't try to slip away, but like Berg, you notice him leaving.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So Kalimat, you head off on your own. Yeah, I think you find a shop like that. Just a shop that has like a bunch of stuff in it, like a general kind of shop where people do like trading.
Cool.
And you're walking through the like the aisles, and there's all sorts of sort of miscellany laying about. And what are you looking for particularly? Like, I guess you can set this scene. Like, what do you see?
Well, I would imagine it's laid out where the like in the back of the room there's like a workbench with like maybe a pocket watcher and like a chair that he's trying to repair, something like that, like things that are nice but they're in disrepair and they're broken and stuff, and he has tools all over the place. It stinks of like wood stain and tanning and that kind of stuff.
Yeah. On the bench, you see there are some like obvious like work projects, but there is a something like personal that this person is working on, and it's a tiny little like half apart. There's little like sprockets and gears and stuff all over the table, little bits. There's a tiny little metal. It looks like a cockroach with two long sort of like filament antennae off the front of it. And it's a little toy, but it looks like it's meant to be wound up, and it like walks and like wiggles its little antenna. And it's
okay.
It's yay big, just sitting on the thing, but it's in disrepair, obviously, like everything else.
Okay. Does it look valuable?
If it was put together, yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll make a mental note of it. And just keep looking around to see if there's anything that catches my eye. And I'm honestly like, I was trying to look it up in the Roll20 instruments, but I didn't see any, so I might have just Google it.
Yeah, sure.
Like D&D instruments or whatever. But yeah, so like I'll wind the thing and see like if it makes any.
Yeah, it takes a couple. It takes a couple of steps across the table and then sort of tips over. Yeah, it seems like there's some sort of balance. Like there's a weight inside that's broken.
I'll pocket it. Okay. It's caught my eye. It would fit in my pocket, right? It wouldn't be like too cumbersome.
Yeah, it's like it's like a big toy car size.
Okay. I'll put it in my pocket.
Okay. So let's have you roll for this other item you're looking for. You're scavenging, so I feel like the skill for that is probably.
So you just steal this dude's toy?
He did. Yeah.
What a dick.
It's broken, dude.
It's probably survival. I think scavenging for stuff is
to him.
survival.
It's a gem.
Okay.
Yeah, that
survival coming. 14.
Nice, 14. Okay, yeah, you can find what you're looking for, whether Kalimat knows it or not. I think you describe the thing and then tell us how you find it. So it's in this. There's one of them in this shop.
Okay. I think I find like a rusted brass like panpipe set.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks dingy and just like, but it looks loved. Like someone took this and made it their own, maybe even named it or something, and fell on hard times, had to feed somebody or whatever. Like the story's all like in my head, but yeah, it looks like all it needs is to be loved and polished, and you know, put like a coat of like a whatever, like brass cleaner or whatever, and I take it and I blow into it, and it's just instantly like whatever note I picked is, it feels like the wind. Like and I take a few more like I blow a few more notes, and it feels right. It feels correct. And it's a nice offset because the pipes are more treble, like tinny and higher. And it's a nice offset to my lower, like bassy, baritone voice. So it complements it pretty well.
Cool.
And yeah, without that, I don't want to like take up all the time like describing this fucking flute, but
yeah, I mean, you can describe it to us later in bits and pieces every time you use it, right? But yeah, you take a walk and you find yourself in like the dawn light. You find yourself in this place, this dusty shop, and you come away with those two objects as you return back to Sully and Ramus. So, Ramus and Berg, what are the two of you doing while Sully is preparing the spell?
I'm casting a new spell that I haven't cast before to help protect us while we sleep. It's called Guardian of Faith.
Nice.
I summon an angel of the tower that appears briefly, but then fades away, and all you can see is his sword standing there at the entrance of the place we're sleeping at, and it will stay there all night.
Cool.
And if someone comes in the door that intends to harm us, it will attack them.
Nice. Okay, cool. And does the sword remain visible? Like, is it something that we can see?
Yeah, it's a glowing sword, like you would imagine like in Diablo, or like just a sword of heaven, where it's like you can see like an outline.
That's so cool. So like for a second, and it's like that angel we saw in the tower, this like huge, this sort of faceless, slightly horrifying entity. We see it, and it draws a heavenly sword, stabs it into the ground, and then like fades away. And then that's so cool. And it's like it's still there, but it's invisible.
Yeah, he's there and he's guarding us all night.
Holy shit,
for 8
that's
hours.
badass. 8 hours, cool. Okay, great. And I mean, I think it's a Ramus spell. So like, you know, this angelic vision like looks a little bit like you. Like maybe you deny it, but if someone was like, "Is that you just summoned a giant ass angel version of you?" You're like,
well, you know, heaven does base things off perfection, so you know.
I think I see it, and I go to Ramus. Are you casting illusions of yourself? What is this spell?
No, heaven is just here to protect us all night. You can feel safe under the protection of the tower.
I'm not even going to begin with that. I'll see you inside.
So, Berg, what is there anything you want to do while these two are setting up the perimeter?
I mean, he went with Kalimon. Probably didn't enter the store just to not draw any more attention onto himself and let Kali do his thing. Wait outside, maybe, and he's got time to look at his arm and inspect it and just kind of stare at it and mess with it. Try to recapture, you know, the feeling that he had when he's been chasing that. I kind of liken it to It's like the same thing in, again, of course, I'm going to reference Star Trek. When Data felt like anger and emotion, you know what I mean? And he just keeps trying to recreate that feeling so that we can summon that same thing. And it hasn't really been working. We just kind of sitting there examining his arm and,
looking at it. Yeah. So your arm is just like a big, like black stone arm. You've seen it like kind of cracked and glowing with lava or whatever below, but right now it's dormant. Sturdy. You use it to punch things and break stuff, pick things up. You can feel things with it, but a little bit like numbly. But yeah, by examining it, there isn't really like it doesn't offer you up any clues on simple visual examination.
I have a flint box with me.
Flint and steel,
I'm
maybe.
trying to think. Explorer's pack. Do you have a flint with that? Just off the top of your head, do you know? I don't know. I never can remember all this stuff.
Yeah, that's cool. We can look. In an explorer's pack, there is a tinderbox. Yep.
Okay. So
flint, fire, steel, and tinder.
Berg wants to, while trying to like summon those same motions and stuff, and thinking about just things that might piss him off or whatever. Probably thinking about Hahaha actually, just to try to get some actual emotion going, because he knows rage is where his source of power comes from.
You look across the street and there's a restaurant that specializes in turtle soup.
He gets a flint and maybe grabs some something that's able to be lit on fire, some little kindling or whatever. Uses the tinderbox, lights a small little fire, and then like puts his arm over it while he's doing this, just to see if maybe that helps spark it. Because Berg's brain is like, all right, well, I gotta use fire. So
yeah, right.
Just trying to see if that has any effect.
So you're like holding your hand in the fire, and eventually, like it actually starts to hurt a little bit, and so you like you like instinctively pull your hand away.
Yeah.
And you like do it again until the tinder kind of burns up, and you like drop it. It doesn't seem to respond.
Yeah.
Adam, when I had the detect magic cast, was Berg's arm
just sitting there, and Kalimat eventually comes back from the pawn shop. The spells are done. Sully, do you go and let them know that your hut is ready?
Yeah. I was muted to you guys, but not to the stream. I was asking, when I had detect magic cast, was Berg's arm glowing at all, or was it just it was?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, very very faintly. I mean, it's literally like a chunk of stone that he can move, so it has to be magical to even function.
Okay, so I had known that for the longest time, that it was a magical arm, or magical in nature, right? Okay.
I mean, literally any person in the Court of Swords that
Sure.
looked at it could tell that it was magic
Okay.
because it shouldn't do what it does.
Sure.
Just say move.
I think I like come out of the tiny hut to make sure that there wasn't like a hole in it inside where extra dimensional crap was leaking through or whatever. I come outside and see Berg like lighting his arm on fire, and Berg, I could look at your arm if you're trying to make sense of it. Just grunt.
How do you know anything about it?
Well, I don't, but I could study it. I could learn with you about it.
Joy.
I don't even have to talk. Unless it's important.
That would be better.
Fair enough. Whenever you wish for me to look at it, just let me know. The tent is ready. If you wish to come inside.
Just walks away towards the tent.
I see Ramus downstairs.
Shelter.
Yeah. Ramus, tent's ready. Where did Kali run off to?
And as that happens, first I want to ask, Adam, does my instrument take the place of material components?
Yes.
It does unless the spell, which I don't think any of yours will, unless the spell demands a material component that is destroyed by the spell, because there are a few like that.
Oh, okay. So as you say that, you hear like this very tinny like whistle, and then in your head, Solly, you've done this to me before, and I'm trying to do it, and what you hear in your head is like word salad. It's like dirt, cheese, hair,
Purple monkey
road,
dishwasher.
sign,
What?
and stuff like that. I'm trying to get across. I'm trying to play the instrument as I'm casting the spell at the same time. And it's just not working quite right yet, but I'm working it out.
Yeah. Do I see you, or do I just get these random noises in my head?
No, and then I'm not hiding from you. You can look up and see where it's coming from.
Okay. Yeah.
And I look at you, and I put the flute down. And did you hear that?
What? What are you? Did I hear what? Just random words? What are you doing?
Oh, I wasn't quite sure how to do that. I'll try it again later. But you did hear something.
Yes. Please never do that again.
Good. Oh, I won't. It'll be better next time. I promise. Ah. And you just see me like kind of like do like an Oliver like jump up and click my heels together like. Woo-hoo.
Yeah, hooray!
Wait, how? You didn't even perform. How did you do that? You didn't even
found
have
this.
the materials for it.
Apparently, I don't need them. The magic somehow lives in the music. It's breathtaking. It's I feel it flow through me.
Kalimat, do you know where I'm from? What you just performed is known as street magic. It is not something that you should be boastful about.
You sure know how to shit on a good time, don't you? Well,
he's just
I'm not
jealous
going
he's
to
not the only spellcaster.
Exactly. I'm not going to let you. And you know what? You might wake up tomorrow with more weird random words in your head.
But it would be from a street magician, and I won't care. Just gonna say very plainly at you.
Get out of here, David Blaine.
I think that's his way of saying he doesn't understand it, isn't it, Ramus?
No, it's very primitive. You use a song to create your music. I understand this. I've never wished. Ugh. I just turn around and kind of like walk inside the tent. Thought you were something else. It's disappointing.
Kalimat has become an angel, a Chris angel.
Chris Angel.
So everybody's gonna pile into the tiny hut and have a rest.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the plan.
Cool. Yeah. You all long rest, and I guess if you
Well,
get
that's
a
the first
long
time
rest, that
I'm seeing the fucking huge angel with the sword or whatever, right?
you don't actually see anything. It
okay.
it fades from sight. Yeah, it's invisible until it let me see. Actually, oh no, it is visible. Yeah, you can see it. So you see this gleaming sword of heaven just gonna stabbed into the floor.
I just look at it with awe, like that's pretty that's
Badass.
a lot more
Cully.
powerful than
That's
what I
you're
did.
Thinking is badass.
yes,
It
exactly.
is very badass. The badass power of heaven. Okay, so yeah, everybody does get a long rest, which means you
Nice.
recover all your hit points. You get half your dice, your hit dice back. You recover spells. You have your spell book again, Sully, so you can recover that. Berg, how many? You're at level 1 exhaustion now, I think.
Yeah.
Nice, almost there, buddy. Almost there. So Berg, you're down to level 1 exhaustion. And if there's anything else that you need to do on the long rest, feel free to.
I do want to have a conversation with Ramus, probably towards the end when we're all waking up, like that next morning.
Okay. So I have a thing. I need to do with Berg.
Sure.
First, Berg
You
has
go
a,
ahead.
has a thing. So Berg, when you like settle into sleep, at first it's just the deep black chasm of unconsciousness, but you hear like a repetitive like clanking sound in the distance. And I'll leave it up to you to decide if Berg realizes this is a dream or not, but at first it's darkness and this repeated like clang, clang, like clang, and it's far away, but it's getting like louder. And as you become aware of your presence in this moment, you feel your body again. You're dressed like you normally are, and then you're aware that it's like quite warm. and there's a glow to the place. And when you realize that there's light, then your brain is like, oh, there should probably be things to see by this light. And you see all around you a glowing cavern. You're in this hole somewhere deep below the earth of black stone. And under the stone, you can almost feel like this throbbing, these veins of fire beneath the stone. Like you can feel that heat. And somewhere in the distant darkness, you hear the clanging sound.
After taking a moment to like look around, he probably realizes that it's not quite. Obviously, it's obviously not normal based on where he's at. He's a little still confused. Pretty sure it's a dream. Not entirely sure, but we'll start walking towards the clanging.
Okay.
After like just kind of looking at the cave walls and stuff.
You walk, and like every good dream, you feel as though you're going nowhere. The world moves around you, sort of forming and unforming as you look at it. But you do see ahead of you, there is a faint glow of reddish light, and there is someone raising and lowering a smith's hammer on an anvil. And they're standing in this sort of vague, shadowy darkness. And you see, broad, glowy red shoulders. You see a smith's outfit. You see long, like dreadlocked hair down someone's back. You recognize it's Agni. You recognize her, and she seems to be working on something. She's like banging away on an anvil.
Berg like approaches and just like,
Agni.
And when you say that, she's got the hammer up. You're like, Agni, and you hear her be like, "Whoa, shit!" And she like drops the hammer, and she turns around and she looks at you, and she looks like startled, right? And we see her like pupilless glowing out. She's like made out of fucking fire and magma and stuff. She puts her hands up, and then she's like, a big like cloud of smoke comes out when she exhales. She's like, "Oh, you startled me. Hey, buddy, how you doing? How's the arm going for you?"
It's still attached. I'm confused.
Yeah, that's fair. Me too. Also, I don't know how you're here or why.
What is this? Is this... I was sleeping. Is this real?
Okay.
Or...
Were you sleeping in the plane of eternal fire at all, or no? Probably not. You meant like in a bed.
No.
Right. Okay. So probably this is some kind of prophetic dream. So I'm supposed to tell you something important. Listen, Berg. And she like comes over to you and she like takes your hand. She doesn't burn you horribly. She's holding your stone hand. She's like, I'm gonna level with you. I don't have any thing for you to tell you. I'm like kind of working on something. And she like gestures, and you can see there is like a blade, a glowing sword, like on the anvil, and she's in the middle of like hammering it.
That looks cool.
Yeah, thanks. It's gonna be a sword.
This is odd.
Yeah, this is a little awkward for me. Because I'm sort of in the middle of some stuff. I mean, you can hang out or whatever if you want.
Am I really talking to you?
That's complicated because what you think of as me and what I'm sure you're seeing right now was I'm the embodiment of some conceptual stuff that your material brain is probably struggling with. Yeah. So, I mean, I'm glad that you're not like going insane. That's a good start, right? Exposed to primordial concept entities, it can be bad for you. So you're doing good. It's working out. Yeah. I mean, I didn't call on you or anything. Do you
my arm. You,
And she looks at it.
I feel like it has more to give, more power. I don't understand how to.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, probably. I mean, I imbued it with a sliver of my divine essence. That's like kind of a big deal. Have you tried concentrating real hard? I mean, you've punched things with it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've
Look
lit
at
fire.
it hard. Think about okay, and you lighting it on fire didn't.
Lit fire under it, nothing. No.
Maybe you could have you tried I don't know, praying? I mean, I'm a god, so I mean, I don't want to I don't want to intimidate you or what. Listen, whatever we.
Pray to you.
Yeah, I mean, sure. Why not? That might be fun, right? Say a little prayer.
I never
Your old buddy Agni, she like slaps you on the shoulder.
thought to do that.
Yeah, I mean, all right. Next, here we go. All right, there. Let me. All right, hold on. Okay, go back out, and then let's just turn around. And she like turns you around and kind of pushes you away from her. And then she picks up her hammer and she's like, okay, I'm just gonna keep working on this sword, like nothing's going on, and clank, clank. And then what do you do?
Yeah, it just like turns back around, kind of looking around, like this is so fucking weird. Just keeps walking, walks up slowly, and it's just like,
yeah. And she stops and she's like, halt, and her voice like echoes a little bit. She turns around and her hair is kind of like floating, and she's got like a glowy like fire like halo around her, and she looks at you and she kind of winks like, and then she says, "Who cometh before me, Agni, goddess of the forge?"
Still Berg.
Berg. Yes, we remember you, Berg, who beareth our blessing upon your meaty frame for punching things. Why have you come here to this sacred realm, Berg, who bears the arm of Agni?
I don't know.
Yes, many are those who are without guidance. You have entered my sanctum in search of guidance from me. Right? Yes?
Yes.
Yeah. Good. Then I shall give it to you. Give me your hand. My hand. Give me your hand. She's like points. Waves with her hand. Okay.
Yeah.
She holds it. She holds your stone hand between hers, and she says, "You who bear my arm, but not my arm, the one I made for you. I gave it. It's yours. These are my arms. You have a sacred relic, and it shall in the world empower you with the flame of my righteousness. Pray you unto me for blessings, and if I'm not busy doing other stuff, I will help you in your times of need." Good. You may go now. I'm done telling you things about stuff.
Okay. We're done.
I mean, I think so. I don't know. Do you feel enlightened? You don't look any different.
Know. How do I leave?
How you been? How your friend? I mean, you don't have to go yet, right? Like we can hang out.
I've almost died more times. The city of brass. Well, it's fucked.
She laughs and she says, "I know we had some angels of the tower here a little while ago. They're wrangling primordials, trying to find somebody to help them. Dad was like, "No, thanks. I've got stuff to burn, and whatever. I'm just making swords and shit." But
I
she shrugs. She says,
haven't forgotten my promise. I still will find your brother. It just takes time.
Yeah." She smiles. Good. Thank you. I mean, I know your friends are kind of jerks, but you seem like a good guy.
Berg like kind of thinks about that for a second. He's just like,
Not many say that about me.
It's tough. I mean, in my experience, most people that occupy that realm you're from are caught up in one thing or another, chasing after riches or making babies, whatever it is you do. But
I don't have babies.
I don't know. That's good. I make swords and like other stuff. Not babies though.
Berg goes like this
Said
when she
stuff
says
that's
that, like,
gross. Yeah, and exactly, right? She's like, yeah. I don't know. It just seems to me you're all just carrying around a lot of weight. Literally or metaphorically, the human soul, and I mean this in a very specific way. I'm not being poetic here. The human soul kind of sucks up garbage. You spend time around bad things and it just kind of goes ugly. And then you spend all this time and energy trying to work it off. For what? Get closer to heaven? You want to talk about jerks? I don't know. You probably got to get some rest.
Yes. Well, that sounds good. I don't know if this is real, but thank you. I'm going
That's the trick
to
with
try to
dealing with.
leave.
That's the trick with dealing with people like me, spirits and embodiments of concepts and stuff. It is real, but not in the real way you'd probably think of, like a table being real. That's just an example. I don't want you to attribute any spiritual significance to tables or whatever. Please don't go start a table cult. Just think of it as a cool dream where you get to hang out with your old bud Agni, and maybe next time you're in trouble, like, prayer might be nice. I'll be here. But not like literally here in your dreams or whatever.
I will try.
Just get out of here. And she like turns you around and kind of like she like pushes you out of the dream, basically. Like she gives you a couple of shoves, and then you wake up in the like the little dome. And I think you wake up partway through the conversation. Sully, you said you wanted to talk to Ramus? Okay, so at some point during this conversation, when you're done, this will be like Berg will wake up and interrupt you. But go ahead and have that conversation, and then we'll snap the group back together when Berg wakes up and interrupts you.
Okay. I think maybe Ramus, you like wake up to me trying to cast a spell that you taught me the other day with using material components, in the sense of like I'm doing everything you told me to do. I'm asking the power of the gods to talk to the fountain, to channel the fountain through me to cast the spell. And then I'm opening my eyes and like saying the words, and then nothing's happening. And I'm just repeating that process over and over. So whenever you like to jump into that process, that's when we'll have the conversation. So you tell me when jump in.
I think I wake up and I'm just like smoking a pipe, just like giggling at you, like, he's just so smart yet not very wise. What you trying to do there?
Nothing. Say, not related to what I was just doing. When you ask the gods, do they speak back to you when you cast a spell?
It depends on the spell, and not usually.
For example, the one you were using the other day that we talked about.
Oh, the spell to find our things.
Yes, that spell. Yes.
Oh, no, the gods don't usually speak. You just feel them guiding you in that moment after you finish casting the spell. Because after your years of loyal service and prayers that you've offered, correct? Before you attempted this?
No. In fact, I've probably made fun of the gods more than worship them.
Oh, so you haven't offered any prayers or done anything in the name of the gods, and you just want them to give you something for free.
I assume that's how it was done, yes.
Yeah, right. Really.
What would I have to offer them? They're gods.
Well, the gods don't have time to talk with mortals all the time, so they have us to spread their word, to send people on the right path in life, to guide them through the fountain. Because they're busy doing godly things that are above what we think about on the daily basis.
Oh. Ramus, did you pray today? My eyes kind of widen as if I've done a good thing.
I prayed last night, thank you.
But
I pray to the tower every night to have its shadow not fall upon me this day.
shouldn't you pray every single waking moment? And I turn around and say, like right this moment?
What do you mean this moment?
This very moment right now you should be praying, should you not?
Are you saying you wanted me to cast a spell in front of you again?
Yes. Just say it very quickly.
Okay. Very well. Let me think of something. I have just the spell. I would go over here and I will start praying. And you can watch me if you want. But remember, I'm not just repeating the words. I'm not just saying something and then something happens. This is after years and years of hard dedication and servitude in the name of the
Yes. No,
Arcana.
I understand that. But before, hold on. Before, what are you thinking about as you're doing this?
The funny thing is you're having this conversation like quietly, not so you don't wake anybody. So it's this weird whispered like, what do you think about when you pray?
Yes. Yeah, I'm like I'm right next to him, like studying his entire like body position, since that comes into a lot of wizard
It's
spells.
like a weird Bible camp for Sully Huffa. Like you can't just say the words, you have to believe them, Sully.
Yeah. So I'm just right up next. So what are you thinking about as you say this?
Well, right now I'm thinking about the prayer that's said as you cast the spell, that what we teach the common people about the earth and how we're not too different from the earth, and our souls can merge with the world because the earth and our bodies are all part of a huge cycle. And I'm like going through a prayer as I'm casting meld into stone as a ritual. Talking about telling Sully the prayer of how like we're able to merge into stone briefly because we know we're of the earth in a way, and it's the fountain's magic is in all things, and then
Right. So you're speaking the prayer of meld into stone, and while this is happening, Sully, are you like observing and sort of trying to learn what's actually happening?
Yes, without a doubt.
Okay.
Yeah.
Make a religion check, Sully Huffa.
15.
Not bad. Okay. And then what actually happens, Ramus? Do you like sink into the floor and disappear?
Yeah, then like as the culmination of the prayer starts to happen, I slowly back up and then I start sinking into the stone wall, just fade away
Ramus,
until
Ramus, get back
the
here.
very last line of the prayer is ended, and then I'm in the stone.
And he's just gone.
Ramus, can
merged
you hear
with
me?
The stone wall.
I'm just speaking.
Right, and Berg. So
Berg wakes up and I'm just talking to the wall.
yeah, Berg. You wake up and Sully's like Ramus to this wall.
Right.
Yeah.
I
Really
start.
looks over and is like,
Yeah, I'm touching the wall, like petting the wall to see if I can somehow sense Ramus.
Your friends got into the good shit while you were sleeping, Berg.
happening?
What?
Am I still asleep?
Berg, go back to sleep, Berg. Ramus! Ramus! I start like tapping on the wall. Are you there?
Poke my head out.
Ah!
What?
What is this spell's use?
Not every spell, has not every spell can destroy your enemies or change the world. Like, this is a teaching spell more than anything. Or to hide sometimes.
I kind
Man,
of like,
sometimes you just really want to get stoned.
yeah, I like palm Ramus's head. Like, is it malleable or is it stone?
No, he's still Ramus. Yeah.
Okay. How do you breathe in this form?
Does a stone need to breathe?
Are you actually a stone?
I become one with the earth. I am the stone when I'm inside. I feel at peace with the stone.
Dollar store Buddhism from Ramus. Am I a stone or merely a man dreaming I am a stone?
And during this, like, you see, like, Kalimat, like, with his hands behind his back, and he's been, or hands behind his head, and he's been kind of watching a little bit of this. And he just speaks up and he says, "Oh, so this is fascinating, but my flute is garbage. I see.
What?
All right."
I look back without even like paying attention. Hand me the flute. Give me the flute, Calimont. I'll show you how exciting your spell casting is.
Oh no.
I toss him the flute.
Yeah. I grab the flute, and can I make a performance check to see how well I played the flute?
Okay, well, so first of all, let's imagine the kind of face one would have to play a flute. Then let's imagine what kind of face a turtle has. Yes, you can make a performance check, but I think in this case,
I have disadvantage.
it's at you have disadvantage because you don't even have lips. So you're just on top of the fucking thing, trying to get it to
I
make
just imagine him
sound.
trying to play it and then trying him like putting it up to his
Yeah,
nose.
like a nostril.
Okay, here we go. We'll see how the roll goes. I'll tell you how I play it.
Oh my god! Please don't crit this.
12.
Okay.
So like slightly better than an average roll. So you do an okay job. Once you realize you can use a nostril to like blow over it. Yeah, you get a little like hot cross buns from Seliafa playing the nose pipes.
Yeah. And then I think when I'm done, I'll just cast like prestidigitation in front of me for like fireworks going or like sparks happening. See, street magic. You might want to clean that. Ramus, you're I don't-
Wipe it off on my fucking tunic. Like, god damn it.
Yeah, it's got turtle snot all over it, which is really thick and viscous. Yeah,
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
yeah. And then I try to like, I'm still trying to manipulate this this spell that Ramus has cast. So like, I'm pushing him into the stone. Are you, like, do you fight back or do I have control?
You push me. You push my head back. It goes all the way into the wall, but your hand stops at the wall.
Okay.
Just-
Huh. And then do you like come out from another angle when I do that?
So
Right next to
he
me?
can't. Yeah. So Ramus can go into the stone and then emerge, but he can't go back and forth between the two.
Okay.
So once he emerges completely, then he's emerged, and the sort of the point has been made.
Okay.
But with a 15, I mean, like Ramus, you can contribute to this too. But I think like Salihafa, you do have like a revelation about like Ramus's message sinks in that it's not just the like with a spell, wizard spell, it's the somatic components. It's moving the hands in a certain way. It's saying the sacred or the special words to tap into the power of the fountain. And you realize that they're different disciplines, but cleric magic and wizard magic work fundamentally the same way, but in addition to the discipline required to know the words and to keep them in your head and to say the spell and use the material components correctly, there is an aspect of belief that empowers access to the magic. That Ramus, like when maybe you realize this about Ramus, but like when he says he believes in the tower and stuff, he has to mean it or the magic wouldn't work. Like you get that that's the difference between your spells and his.
Right.
That he believes in the power that embodies them, not simply because logically you know if you do it the right way it will work, but there is an aspect of like asking of faith, of not demanding, but of saying please to the world at large by way of the Arcana. So you do actually have like a revelation about the way the magic works.
Okay.
Dan, do you have any additional detail you want to throw in there? Anything that you think Sully would realize?
I think that he pretty much gets it that, and you also like you're almost like you're bargaining with the god to give you a favor for doing his work.
I think
Sort
that's
of.
how Solly would see it. Is it's not necessarily a prayer. It's that you're like there's a bargain for your time being given up to make this effort to speak with the god. He's granting you like access to his knowledge and power.
What'll be really interesting is if Sully ever gets his hands on a warlock and someone has to explain to him the difference between a cleric and a warlock.
Right.
Like,
right,
oh,
right,
God.
yeah.
Same situation as far as I figure it.
Yeah, exactly. So I think
Cool.
I like knock on the wall. Ramus, I understand now. If you're still there, can you hear me?
I can't hear anything, but I just pop out because once I'm in the stone, I can't hear outside of it. I pop out. I'm like, "Do you get it now, Sully?" All the way out this time.
Yes. You waste your time speaking with the gods while my spells just go off. I perform them perfectly and
You
remember,
were
but you...
so close. I thought you got it this time, but
No, I don't... Look, waste is it's an improper word. You offer your time to the gods, and the gods, for your time, give you access to their spells. Words are
Still
important.
sense
I'm
a
learning
bit of
this.
condensation in there.
No,
Condensation there, but it's. I think you're getting it now. I think you finally understand how clerics work.
In
While
some
they're talking,
degree.
Berg's getting up and running to the wall to like run into it to see if like he's awake. He's just been sitting there so confused.
Okay. Yeah, we
Like,
just
it's
hear a
just
thud.
like,
Berg, what are you doing?
I guess I am awake. What are you doing?
Learning how this works. Of course you're awake. This would be a terrible dream to have, would it not?
Why is Ramus...
We're just gonna end Court of Swords, and it's just like Dallas. It was a fucking dream the whole time. This, like you say that, this would be a terrible dream, wouldn't it? And then you do the like Twin Peaks stare at the camera, like,
Yeah.
wouldn't it? A
Yeah.
terrible dream. So anyway,
What were you saying, Berg? You were asking why Ramus is in a wall.
yeah.
It's a spell that he has. I don't see the use of it, but it is quite interesting to turn yourself into stone, I suppose.
I spoke to Agni.
You-
I think I did. I
You
don't
did
know.
what? In your dream?
Agni. Yes. She was in my dream. If that's what it... I don't know. It's weird.
Well, what did you speak about?
How she was. What we were doing. It was inside.
Berg, it sounds like you practice your own spells, like Ramus does. You wasted a god's time.
Right. Shut up.
I did not have any dreams of speaking with Agni. Did you learn anything important?
She said to try and pray to her now and then. Might help with my arm. Unlock power from it. I don't even know if it was real. She said it was real. But how can I trust something in my mind? I don't.
Berg's like really grappling. Like it's hurting Berg to think this hard on something.
Sounds like a crisis of faith. You should speak with Ramus about that. I'm sure he's consoled many people, much like yourself.
Real gods, not the barbarian gods.
Amos. She helped you.
She burned my face off.
You asked for it.
I mean, it's not off. You've got like shiny burn skin in the shape of a handprint, but
The fountain healed a lot of it, but there's a big shiny print right there.
I feel like as a group, I'm just going like this to Berg because we've just completely forgotten that that's happened, and just kind of like passed over the fact that Ramus's entire side of his face is just burnt, just dead skin.
Upon mentioning it, I just feel like a tingle there, like this phantom feeling.
Yeah.
Because I don't have quite as much feeling there anymore as I used to, but
yeah. And then I start getting my stuff together. Suppose we're going to the tower today.
Ramus.
We're
Callie.
immediately like, oh, there, good.
Yep. Before we go, were there any results? Or, excuse me, that's right. I didn't see you do it, did I?
no.
Before we go, would you mind casting that spell to see if we can find Maud?
I will, but it does require a 50 gold fee to cast the spell
Of course.
as an offering to the gods.
But, okay, let's make a roll here.
Can I
right?
make a check to see if I know? Because that's a spell you taught me. There was never a 50 gold offering.
So well, let's see first. Ramus, make a deception check.
Nate.
Start there.
Oh god.
So good.
All right.
Okay,
Deception of
difficulty is 8. So insight check of 8. Sully, you can oppose it with an Arcana check if you want. To be like, wait a second, that's not how that spell works.
Oh,
Sounds
my
good.
god, Calimite falls for it.
Sounds good to me.
Okay,
He's
so
my
Sully,
friend. I believe him.
yeah, Sully, you can. Oh my god, I did not think that 8 was gonna get. Oh, it's so good. Okay, so Sully, you think in your head like, wait a second, that doesn't sound right. But Calimite, what do you say when Ramus is like, there's a 50 gold price to be paid?
I had to do that last time, and the gold like disappeared. So I'll take out 50 gold and hand it to Ramus.
Okay.
I'll be
Okay.
I'll be counting it out. in
Yeah,
case
Sully, do you say
somebody wants
anything?
to Say something.
I think I'm like behind Kalimat, and I look at Ramus and just tilt my head, and it just like says up in the corner like, "Sally will remember this" or something like that. And I just kind of like pluck something out of the air and go like that and put it into my pocket, and close it, and turn around. I don't say
Okay.
a single thing.
All right, so I count out 50 gold, and I hand it to
Okay.
Ramus.
All right.
And I say something to the effect of, "This is a small price to pay.
No, it's even better that way. It's a small price to pray.
It's a small
That's the
price
name
to
of the
pay."
episode, everybody. It's a small price to pray.
Nice.
I take the gold. Into my hand. Take the gold into my hand. I cup it and I tell Sully, now close your Kalimat, please close your eyes and envision her and think of Maud. And now I'm going to channel the Arcana and we'll see if we can find her. All right, we're thinking. I cast a spell, finish the prayer,
Yep.
and then see if I can sense her for real, like around.
Okay. She's definitely not within 1,000 feet of you. She's also not within 300 meters of you.
I don't feel her life force anywhere, Kali.
And I immediately open my eyes. You don't feel her life force? That doesn't mean she's dead, does it?
Not necessarily. There are things that can block the magic, the power. There are things that can. But I don't sense her in this area.
In this
But-
ensure
If you give me
anywhere?
another 50 gold, I could probably increase the range and try. No, I'm kidding.
So I mean, there's an opportunity here, Ramus, because I know you have a goal.
Mm-hmm.
You see in Kalimat's like, wait a second, like, does this mean like you could try to lie to Kalimat? It worked just a second ago. You could lie to Kalimat and be like, she's gone, man, and then they might not like that would stop them wanting to go after her.
Yeah, I think I will do that. Like, I think I'm gonna word it like. One reason that I wouldn't be able to detect her is she might be dead. It's
But you say might. You don't use absolutes. You don't say is. You say might. That means that she could be alive. Is that true? Yes. Tell me that's true.
I feel that if she was alive, I would sense her. She's either not in this city or she's dead.
Maybe the gods aren't answering you right now. Maybe that's the case. They weren't answering you before. They probably aren't answering you now. And I get up and I storm off.
Okay. So let's see. I want to do the same thing we did before, like the deception and the insight check. Not so much to immediately be like, oh, you're lying to me, Ramus, but to see how much, like, what Kalimat ends up believing. And I'm not gonna tell you how to play your character, Zeke, but obviously, like, this is more like which story sticks. If you're like, Ramus doesn't know what he's talking about, or maybe Ramus was right. So yeah, Ramus, make that deception check.
I'm gonna use inspiration in this role. Or
Okay.
14.
All right, 14.
I too will use inspiration.
Uh-oh.
Insight, right?
Yes, insight.
Oh, shit.
Oh.
So now he knows
so
that-
Kalimat.
Okay, hold on one second.
So Kalimat.
the lie
I
is
will tell you this. What's that? No, well, no. So here's the thing. I want to tell you. So your insight, a crit on insight, is good enough to see past the lie, and to the point where you understand what Ramus is trying to do to you, which is get you to give up on looking for her. Like, not only is he lying, but he's lying for his own purposes because he's sick of dealing with this shit. Right? That's the thing, right, Ramus? Where you're like, we got more important shit to do. Stop worrying about this kid.
Yeah, we need to let go of her because she's gonna die if she stays with us anyways.
Yeah, and I think maybe depending on sort of how the two of you want to look at it, part of that seems to me to be like religious on the part of Ramus. Like Ramus, that's the core tenet of the tower. Don't hold on to shit. So I don't know how much of that is that, or how much of it is just Ramus being like, "Fuck this, I don't care about it." What do you think? What would Kalimat know? Like, this is a crit. This is like pierce right to the nature of what's going on with Ramus right now. What do you think, Ramus?
I think once I saw Hazan do it himself, where he told Berg in front of all of us that he could get rid of her, I thought instantly that that's what heaven wants, is her to be gone, so Berg is not burdened by her anymore.
Interesting. So I think, and that's the thing about the crit, is that if you had just gotten the success, it would have been like, Ramus is lying to you because he doesn't want you to deal with this. But you see beyond just the lie to Ramus's motivation for the lie, right? So you understand something, which actually makes it harder to act on because now you understand something about him as a person, why he lied to you. But you realize this, I think, as you're storming away.
Right.
And you realize he's actually trying to do this to like help Berg in his own way. So it puts the moral dilemma kind of on you too.
Yep. I knowing all this, I stop at the doorway or whatever. And I look directly at Ramus. And I say, if what you're saying is true, then we should let her go. Is that what you're saying?
The tower teaches us that holding on to those things holding on to things instead of letting go of them is what prevents us from finding the star, from moving on.
So she is dead. And we should leave her that way. Yes?
Yes. How can a girl survive in this place by herself?
It's such a good answer too. It's such a good answer too, because you're not saying like, yeah, I know for sure she's dead. You're responding with a question like, how could she possibly be alive? Like, let it go. Just stop worrying about it. Like, you're not responsible anymore.
Very well then. We'll let the dead lie. And I kind of linger on lie.
Well, right. And also, like, Ramus is a soulless monster, and there's this whole fucking thing. It's good. Nice counter jab there. And I think the end of this conversation, like as the two of you talk, we get the focal shift, or we pan the camera slightly over to Berg, who's like getting ready to leave. And Berg, what do we see you doing? Are you just like packing up your bags, or?
Yeah, packing up his bags and like thinking about. I think actually he literally is. I was gonna say this before, but inside his head, he's like,
Agni, can you hear me?
There's no response.
Shit.
Right. Okay. So yeah, we pan over to Berg, and we just see Berg like staring at his arm, like, come on, just Agni, do the thing. Cool. Yeah. All right.
And he just like, brushes it off.
Yeah, and so rather than like, because I know you're all gonna set off for the tower for the next episode, so rather than like begin that journey, maybe we do goals and hand out XP and do that stuff now.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Sound good? Okay.
Cool.
Do you want to do them before or after shoutouts?
We can do shoutouts first. We'll just keep it normal.
Okay. Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, fun episode. I think that was a good RP episode for sure. Zeke, we'll start with you. We'll talk about that more in the post show. You want to do some shout outs, Zeke?
You bet. What's up, everybody? Thank you guys very much for hanging out with us during this journey. It is, goddamn, it's so much fun every time. And I have just as much fun RPing myself as watching other people do it. It is, I understand why you guys watch, because being a part of it is amazing. I'm so grateful to do this every week. Thank you to Adam, JP, Dan, and Max for being great companions on this journey. I won't be at PAX East. If you tune into the earlier part of the episode or you watch the VODs, you'll know why. Just was too much traveling in April, and I gotta think about my channel and that kind of stuff. I'm going to be gone many more days in April. So that's why I'm not going to PAX East. So I'm sorry. I won't be attending the panel either, but I will be watching and I'll be there in spirit. But that means more casting for me. So starting tomorrow, I'll be back on, and tomorrow's a very fun day because I'm going to be doing some more Far Cry co-op with Sour Kool-Aid Show DP, and hopefully have a special guest with Man vs. Game. Hopefully he can get his lazy ass up out of bed and come on over. So that's starting at noon Pacific time. If you guys want to check it out, that's when it'll be. So follow me on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube, all the same, Ezekiel_III. That's it.
Awesome stuff. Mr. GassyMexican, some shout outs, please.
What's up? I'm GassyMexican. All over here is all the stuff that you can find me at. I'm Ridecaster here on Twitch. Be playing a lot of Sea Thieves, Far Cry 5, and just kind of random shenanigans that have been coming out. Still want to get into a way out, but good stuff today. That was fun with Agni. We'll talk more about that in the post show, but that was really, really cool. I like her character, and I think most people in chat and viewers would agree that she's pretty cool. Yeah, we'll be at PAX. I'll be there all the days pretty much. I have other panels too that you can check out if you want. I'll be tweeting about them. You can also just look them up. I think maybe actually I don't know how PAX works. TwitchCon makes it easier. But yeah, I'll be there. If you see me, yeah, I wish they could do that for different people that are attending. If you see me, say hi. I don't bite much or hard, so yeah, if you see me, definitely say hi. But for everyone else, we'll see you next time we do a show.
Max doesn't bite hard. All right. I don't know what that statement means, but there you go. Dan, how do you bite hard and also do some shout-outs?
It was a joke.
It's episode 69. Anything goes.
Anything goes, man. You're going to let it out? Let it out now? Go ahead, Dan.
I'm DansGaming, /DansGaming on Twitch. He's a variety streamer. I'll be at PAX for the next few days, so no streams. But today was a fun episode. I love when we have player versus player moments, like with me and Zeke today, and that was fun. I can't wait to talk about in the post show. I'm looking forward to next week, and I can't wait to do the panel this weekend at PAX, where 3 of the 4 of us will be there.
Yeah, Zeke.
The entire cast will.
Adam, do some shout-outs for us.
I'm expecting a bit of that.
It does. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, we're gonna get on your ass at the panel, I promise. Thank you for coming, everybody, to this very special episode of Court of Swords. My name is Adam Coble. I'm the Dungeon Master. I will be returning to the role of Space Master soon with our new Stars Without Number campaign. Once we have our cast assembled. I've started talking a little bit about the campaign. Some folks have actually done some fan art for it already, which is super cool. Over on my channel, twitch.tv/Adam Coble, where I do my GM stuff. You can also follow me on Twitter for little tidbits about the various campaigns and stuff that I'm up to. At skinnyghost on Twitter. I have created a Q&A thread where you can go and tell me how much you love Agni and how awful Ramus is, and I'll link that in chat. That's ready to go. That's on community on our community website. Go check it out. And we will be back for the panel at PAX, which I hope you will tune into. I'm up to all sorts of other PAX stuff. You can find it on my schedule as well.
Yeah, just real quick, so everyone, if it wasn't already clear, we're doing a PAX panel. It's Friday, April 6th at 1:30 to 2:30 p.m. in the Dragonfly Theater, which I think is streamed on twitch.tv/PAX3. Yeah. And this is wrong. This person should be removed from this.
Yeah, I don't know why it says Judas on there. I'm going to email PAX and be like, just give him his silver and tell this backstabbing piece of shit to get off my panel.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Sometimes they make mistakes, okay?
There will be some other people there. Jesse is going to stop by and talk about 3 out of the 4 cast members that have been confirmed for that. And we'll also be announcing who those people are, as well as 3 of the 4 cast members for Adam's upcoming new show. And a couple of those cast members will actually be there in person. Others will probably be on Twitter talking about it.
I can tell you that Benedict Arnold won't be on that show.
Oh, brother. Oh, brother. And with that, let's do some goals and XP, and then we'll call it a show.
Yeah, let's do it. Okay, so there's some resolved ones, some questions. So, Berg, you work towards proficiency and understanding of your lava arm. I feel like there's a moment soon where you're going to be able to just do that one. So I would say keep that one for the next one.
Yeah.
So you'll get the 50 times your level for that one this session.
Okay.
Do you want to? And I think also the find mod one, if you want to take that one off for next session, in anticipation that Kalimat and Ramus are going to convince you, that's a thing. Or you could write a goal about that, like get my friend's advice on what to do about mod. You can write a goal explicitly knowing that we're going to do those scenes. Well, and that's the thing is we know we're going to, that scene is going to come up. So you could write a goal about resolving it if you want to get that XP. So you'll get 50 times your level for working towards the lava arm. Ramus, same thing. We're like one or two rolls away from make sure the kid isn't a problem. You get the work towards, but not necessarily the accomplish. But if the next episode, if you can convince Berg to let it go, then you'll get that one for sure.
That sounds so bad. Make sure the kid isn't a problem. Make sure the kid isn't a problem.
It's so ominous.
Yeah. It's a Ramus goal.
Yeah, it is. And then Kalimat, I think you worked towards I baited the hook for one of them. But you work towards finding mod. So level times 50 for that one.
Okay.
And then figuring out how to cast your spells. Do you think that one is done? Have you figured it out?
Yes, I would say yes. I would say that goal is accomplished.
I think so too. Okay, so what? You're level 6.
Yep.
Okay, so that is 600 experience for that one because I was just in
Okay.
It's mostly RP. Okay, so 600 for that one, and then 50 times your level for the mod one.
Okay.
Do you know what your Do you want to know what your replacement goal is going to be?
Let me see.
Yeah, the prisoner one. I baited the hook, but you didn't really. There was no rolls around it, so you don't get any XP for that one yet.
Sure, no
Now
problem.
you have
That's
an
fine.
opportunity to go find out where.
Yep. As far as let's see. Ugh. Whenever I replace a goal that it hasn't been actually accomplished, I put it back in my other goals list of unaccomplished ones,
Pile.
and I still see one that says repay Ramus for saving my life during the fight with the priest, which was like the first one. All I saw was repay Ramus, and I was like, should repay Ramus for something else.
Well, I mean, you could certainly write a goal about getting to understand Ramus better because you saw a side of him. Like, no one's ever critted an insight check on Ramus, right? No one's ever seen he's doing these things for his own twisted sense of, like, really loyalty to Berg, right? He thinks he's helping Berg by being like, nah, the kid's dead, dude. Forget about it.
Yeah.
Right.
So you could write a goal about, like, figuring Ramus out if you wanted.
Yep. I'm going to leave it blank for now.
You can
and think about it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, Sully, you worked towards your secret one.
Okay. Yeah, I think
And
maybe we should make
do you-
that not secret now, because I think the person that I'm trying to, the goal of that is probably the one that's going to decide when that's finished. Would you agree with that?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Sure. Yeah. If you want to.
Yeah, the secret goal was make peace with Berg. So, I don't, Max, that's going to be on you to decide when that actually gets, quote, accomplished.
Yeah, and Max and JP as players, Max, you could say, like, here's how you could do that. Here's what you would have to do. And then that's the thing. Like, we can share that information as players to be like, Berg won't forgive you until you do this thing.
Yeah.
It's totally
Yeah.
possible.
And I think we should like keep that off cast so that it's not so like.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
Definitely.
we can
I'm
talk
into
about it at PAX.
Yeah, I agree. So I don't get any XP for working towards that, right? Or do I?
No, you get XP for working towards it. Yeah.
Okay, is
So
that
you get
60
level times 50?
times 50? Okay.
Level times 50. And then so if Calumet understands why he has magic talent, do you also? It sounds like I think that little thread is tied up, right? Where you're just like, oh, it's just like jokester magic.
Yeah, and I think that actually makes like sense.
I like that.
That was
too.
a complete like off the cuff. It was just like, oh, of course, that's like the lamest magic of all magic.
It's not real magic. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
If you want to be a bard, if you want to be a bard in Turtle Town, they're like, get out. Just go do that
the
shit
bards
elsewhere.
are laughed at. Yeah,
Yeah,
if
there's
that's
no
okay
bard
with
college
Easy.
in Turtle Town.
Oh, that's fine. No, I think that honestly, like, it kind of endears me to you that you're completely unwilling to understand like matters of that are outside of knowledge, and
Right.
just like it, rather than like something that you worked hard for and learned. You earned that shit.
Right. There's not a practice of being precise. It's just kind of like flawed magic is how I would perceive that. Even though it's not
Sure.
flawed at all,
Yeah.
like it still works.
Magic, dummy magic for babies.
Yeah, dummy magic.
It's like
Okay.
the difference between like someone who is just born tall and like a short basketball player that actually had to like work at that shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, what level are you?
I'm
Are you
6.
6?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So that one, I think I made it the same. So yeah, that's 600 XP for you for that one.
Okay.
And then the Ramus one, is that? Did you think you understand how Ramus's magic works? You get that good roll. You've been working on it a few episodes.
Yeah, I think I do, but we agreed that Dan would be the one to decide that. So, Dan, do I understand Ramus at its core level?
Yeah, I think you finally got it.
Okay.
You're as close as you're probably
Got
ever
it.
gonna get.
He got it and then chose to ignore the truth of it,
Yeah.
but he understands the basic functions. Okay, all right. So that one was hard. So that's worth 1,800.
Nice. That was a 2,700 experience day for me.
Yeah, not bad. So you need to make 2 new goals for next time.
Yep. Yeah, I'll wipe those off the character sheet.
Cool.
All right, that'll do it for the episode. We're going to record that post show. If you want to watch that, it's over at patreon.com/roleplay. It'll be posted up later tonight. I'll make sure everything gets posted and set up to go live the next couple of days on YouTube before I depart for PAX tomorrow. And yeah, hope to see you guys at the PAX panel this Friday. If not, we'll see you guys next week for more Roleplay Court of Swords on Tuesday at 6 o'clock Eastern. We're out. Have a good one. Bye-bye.